where we really focus on the younger generation. How do you market to the younger generation, and how do you engage with the younger generation, to achieve business results? I think LinkedIn is like a professional website for professional individuals. We always believe that consistency is key. What we call the familiarity effect, right? About how do I actually use LinkedIn to get a job, or how do I leverage LinkedIn to get an opportunity or connect with people, right? And also the mindset, right? Am I willing to also learn from you?
Hi everyone, welcome to Asian Business Owner Podcast, ABOS for short. With the changing economy, especially after pandemic, do you ever wonder why business lifespan is getting shorter? Do you ever wonder what causes it? Are you one of the business owners who are in the midst trying to figure a way out? Or are you intending to start your own business venture believing that everything will work out but somehow you feel something is missing? Or do you want to start a business however you do not know what to go for? If you have all these questions on the list that I mentioned earlier, or many more that I have not mentioned, then we are here to fill the gap.
Hi, I'm Ben.
I'm Joe. Please subscribe to this channel so that you will not miss any of our episodes moving forward. Today, we're very excited to have Vivek, founder of the Millennial, a LinkedIn marketing agency helping people to boost their professional profiles, and also a best-selling author of 4 books on the topic of millennials. I personally read 3 of his books and gifted some to the business owners who have millennials in the workforce. So I would definitely recommend his books to our viewers. Vivek also has a video on his Singapore story in his website. So do check it out as well. Without further ado, Vivek, please give a short introduction before we dive into the questions we have for you.
Hey, hi everyone. My name is Vivek, and I'm the founder of Millennial Minds. Basically, we are a marketing agency, a B2B marketing agency, and also a leadership consultancy, where we really focus on the younger generation. How do you market to the younger generation, and how do you engage with the younger generation, to achieve business results, lah. So that's basically what I do. I've, like Joe said, I've written 4 books about millennials, and I'm currently writing my 5th one, and yeah, we are established in Singapore.
Okay, so we talk about LinkedIn that you actually help to promote as well, right? So let's
Mm-hmm.
go on to the topic of LinkedIn, which I realize that a lot of professionals like to use this platform. So why do you think it's important to create a profile in LinkedIn?
Well, I think LinkedIn is like a professional website for professional individuals, so if you are someone who wants to move from one job to another, it makes sense for you to definitely have a CV, right? So in the same vein, LinkedIn is like a real-time update of your CV, what's happening in your day-to-day, sharing stories about, what's going on. Of course, a lot of the people who I know who have been on LinkedIn, they have started a profile, but they are not really active on it. So their profile kind of collects a, a bit of digital dust, right? Is not fully utilized. But I do believe that when we start to utilize LinkedIn more intentionally, we actually attract a lot more opportunities to ourselves. And this goes for employees as well as entrepreneurs, right? If you are someone who is sharing about your business and sharing your journey, sharing the ups and downs, people will start to relate to you, and then they'll start to follow you, and then you'll build followers, and that will actually help you in terms of business outcomes as well. It is a long journey. It's definitely not a I post today and I get a sale tomorrow, but in the long run, it has immense benefits. So that's why I believe more people, if you're not on LinkedIn, you're actually leaving money on the table.
It is interesting. I'm just wondering, by posting whatever they actually did in the company and information, as a business owner, won't they get worried that too much information has been shared to the public?
Hmm. Well, if it's about your business, how is it too much, right? We are not sharing anything that you don't want to share. You are in full control of
Mhm.
what you want to share. And what you want to share is information that will help your customers decide that you are the best person to buy from. So on the LinkedIn profile, I always say, right, you must share what you do, who you do it for, and why you are the best to do it for them. right? So you really have to showcase, right, these three things, and you can showcase it in different parts of your profile, but it is a way for you to stand out from the marketplace and say, hey, this is why we do what we do, and this is how we are different. So I think it is a way for you to actually build a unique differentiator for your business. It becomes an unfair advantage for you if you're able to articulate all these points. A lot of businesses, I think, don't have that kind of thinking when it comes to marketing, right? For them, marketing means I just do advertisements or I just do like referrals and stuff, or events. But when it comes to building a personal founder-led brand, it has a different edge to it. We've seen Steve Jobs as a common example. We see Tim Cook, Elon Musk, right? All these people have built their brands, and and their personal brand brings a lot of opportunity, and then they just pass the opportunity to the people in their company, right? To
So
deal with all of those.
actually, their personal brand is bigger than the company's brand.
Yeah, actually it is. Yeah, you see that they have actually more followers than, so Tim Cook has more followers than Apple. If you look at it from the, what do you call it, the LinkedIn profile or the Facebook profile, if you look at the pages versus the profile, the number of followers are different.
Interesting. So does that mean that for any individual who are looking or apply a position in MNC, LinkedIn probably is going to be an advantage for them?
Yeah, definitely an advantage, especially when you can showcase your portfolio of work that you've done for them. Because what does it say, right? Number one, it puts you in front of multiple recruiters, right? And number two, it shows what you do, who you do it for, right? And why you are different from the rest. Right? A lot of people may not have the answer as like, how am I really different? But it's a process, right? The more and more you do things, the more and more people get to know you, the more people will actually tell you, hey, this is how you are different. This is why you're different. So it is basically getting more eyeballs on you. So if you have more eyeballs, then you have more interviews, and if you have more interviews, you have higher chance of getting into the company that you like to be in, right? So it's basically creating demand, right? And I think this is a skill. We are all trained to provide a supply. That means you have a job, I supply my services to you, but how can you also create demand for my services, right? So how do you create awareness about who you are, what you do, so that more and more people can approach me and request for my services? Yeah.
So how about SME? Do you think the SME owner will like using LinkedIn to look for suitable candidate? Because perceptions they are having thinking that probably candidate from LinkedIn are more expensive in a way.
Candidate or client? I mean, LinkedIn is a place where you can do both. You can do recruitment as well as you can do sales. Now, I always believe that it really depends on how active your target audience is on LinkedIn, right? Let's say you're looking to target doctors. If doctors are not active on LinkedIn, then LinkedIn may not be the best place for you to market your business, right? If you're looking to hire nurses and nurses are not on LinkedIn, then it may not be the best place. So it really depends from industry to industry whether the person that you're looking for, are they even active on the platform? If they're not active on the platform, and majority of them just have a profile but it's dead, it's not optimized, they don't really create content, or they don't even comment, engage, then basically it's not a good use. But if your target audience is pretty active, then it is a great place to leverage that network.
Or just like all other social media platform. So you have to be actively post your whatever activities, information to share around. So something like
Okay, quick
that.
question. I have a quick question. It's
Yeah.
like, how active is active? It's like, how many times do you need to post?
Yeah, I mean, if they are at least logging in once a month, I think that would be pretty active. So
Once a
how
month.
we once a month, yeah. I'm not talking about active in terms of creating content. Active in terms of your target audience is logging in, checking their messages, checking their notifications, and maybe browsing through the news feed for a bit. So in once a month, if they have liked something, if they've commented something, if they have reposted something, they are considered active. Right. But that's just my definition, right? Of course, there are creators who are active like 5 times, but they are creating. That's very active. And it is a good sign if you are selling to creators. But what you are looking for is, if you're looking for that person who's a decision maker in a large organization who doesn't really have that much of time to create content. What you're looking for is their activity, right? You go to their LinkedIn profile, you click see all activity, you go look at the comment section. Have they been commenting on any post? Have they been liking any post? Have they been reposting anyone's post? That will give you a rough idea whether this person is a good person to approach on, or maybe just leave it. Yeah.
So in order to catch attention, how often do you think that they should be posting information?
Well, we always believe that consistency is key. So you don't want to have a lot of spike and then drop off. So what is more important is, are you able to maintain the level of consistency? So once a week is consistent, right? Twice a week is consistent, 3 times a week is consistent, but a lot of people mistake consistency for intensity. So intensity is like I must do like 5 posts a week, right? And then you start it off that way, like we start all our New Year resolutions, and then it kind of dies off by February.
By February.
Yeah. So we should just focus on what would be so simple for me that I can do it without really putting in a lot of effort, but I'm pretty happy with the quality of the output that I have. So that's what we are looking for, right? So if even if it's once a week, it's pretty good. If you are doing a really high quality content, even once a month would be good because it's really high quality. There are YouTubers who only release one video a month, but the quality is like cinematic level quality, right? It's because it requires a kind of effort. So you it depends on how you want to build the audience, and what you want to give to the audience, what level of quality you are able to provide on a
Deliver.
consistent basis. Yeah, yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Would it be someone who posted numerous posting content in a very short period of time just to capture attention in a short period of times? But as for those that is consistently just like posting once a week, they're looking in the long-term vision that long term down the road, people will still remember them of who they are, what they are doing.
Yeah, I mean it's just like your coffee shop auntie, right? If you go to the coffee shop auntie and you order your kopi peng every day at 8 a.m. You go to the same shop, same every day, same time. Eventually you all will start having a conversation. It's what we call the familiarity effect, right? I see you many times, we become familiar, we start asking questions, we have a bit of a banter, we chit chat a little bit. All right. If auntie is missing and uncle is around and ask, hey, wait, what happened to auntie? We have that kind of a relationship going on, because we become a lot more familiar. And it's the same on social media platforms as well. You keep appearing for a while, people start getting used to seeing you, becoming a little bit more comfortable with what you do, who you are, what are the kind of stories that you share. And then when you disappear, they start asking, hey, what happened to this person, right? How come this person hasn't been posting for a while? You reach out to them, you ask them and stuff like that. So you are basically building a relationship at scale with multiple people. It's just that you don't know who is watching your content, you don't know who is engaging. A lot of my clients that I get from LinkedIn, they have been viewing my content for a long time, but they never even like a single post of mine. They never even comment on a single post, right? Because it may be seen as a risky act for them, because they're worried how their colleagues may perceive it. They're worried how their company bosses may perceive it. So they don't, but they know that this is the person I can go to when I have a need. So yeah, there are definitely a lot of perks on in terms of posting regularly.
Okay, interesting. Now, let's talk about that's what we mentioned about professional who actually post the content on their job, their knowledge, and so on. But how about for you grad or undergrad? How would you suggest them to maximize on LinkedIn?
Yeah, the biggest challenge I've heard from undergrads is that I have no experience. I'm not working in a company. What can I show or what can I talk about? Right. And I always believe that, we can take clues from other creators who are also starting from zero, right? Maybe they are professional creators, maybe they are just starting out a new business. They're also starting from zero. They have an offer, but they have no credibility, no visibility, so to speak. But what they tend to do is they show up saying that this is my intention and I am building this in public. I'm going to share with you my journey, right? And um, if you're a undergrad and you're applying to jobs, you can share about how you've applied for the job, how you've personalized it, what you've learned. If you've gone for an interview, you say that, hey, I'm going for this interview, fingers crossed. I'm going to share my experience and how I feel I had done, right? So you basically start sharing your journey. And that will create visibility because a lot of people are very capo, they like to see, hey, what's happening in your life, hey, how did the interview go? So sharing those kind of stories will definitely attract a lot of attention, and it will give you a little bit more of a creative output, right? You're able to showcase different angles because if every time you're going to just talk about interviews you went to and what worked, what didn't work, it'll get boring over a period of time. So then you need to look at, okay, what other different types of interesting content can I make that will be relevant for my audience and interesting for my audience to consume. So we can definitely create a body of work on what are the different things that they are doing at this point in time that will help them to get seen by recruiters or by HR managers. Yeah.
So
Okay,
I want
now,
to,
yeah, go
sorry,
ahead,
Alan.
Joe.
Yeah, I want to be a bit tactical here. All
Hmm.
right. So just using my own LinkedIn profile, are there any tips for me?
Oh yeah, sure. Should we take a look at your LinkedIn profile? Should we share screen?
Okay, let me see if I have it here now.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
So
usually log in.
while you're searching, so I posed the follow-up questions, which is that by sharing individual feeling and thought on experience and so on, what do you think that they are also exposing their own personal character and probably there was some flaw that evil intention, people might spot.
I think there is certain amount of fear around identity theft. Some people are worried that we may reveal too much and it may harm us in the future. Um, I think it is true for any platform, lah, right? If you are putting yourself out there, it's the other side of the coin, right? Once you start sharing a lot more about yourself, the good people will find you, and the bad people will also find you. So if you are an attractive lady, you will find a lot of guys approaching you on LinkedIn, asking you, "Hey, how are you?" All these things, wanting to start a relationship with you. There will also be people who are just there to maybe scam you. So it is informed decision that you need to make, right? At any point in time when you are going to put yourself out online, that now even your photo no longer belongs to you, right? If they put it into AI, they can repurpose it, they can reuse it. So it is a decision that you as an individual they have to make, whether they want to, whether is it worth the risk, is it worth the worst case scenarios. In my, I think, 11 years of content creation, I have not come across anything serious, but that is just my experience, right? But there may be people who have gone through something worse, like people started sending them threats, so sometimes, yeah, the public have a reaction towards, we've seen this in the news, right? You say something, you comment something, you share your honest authentic opinion, and there is a public outlash against you. So that those things cannot be helped, lah. It is part and parcel of being in the online space. Yeah,
Right.
it's a individual decision that you need to take.
Okay. So now let's take a look at the interesting portfolio that Joe are having.
Yeah, yeah, let's go.
Okay, sharing my screen. Let me know when you can see it.
Loading.
All right.
Okay. Right. First thing I would say, put your wordings to the right hand side because your cover image is
Mm-hmm.
blocking
Mm,
the third sentence, right? So I can
Okay.
read advance
Mm.
more than 2000, but I cannot read the third sentence, right?
Right.
So all wordings shift to the right hand side, right?
Okay, got it.
That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right, you have probably updated your profile picture is good. You have an opportunity to leverage your banner. So your banner, if you could click on it, then I can read it fully.
This one?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let me just zoom in to that. Multi-award winning HR tech and fintech company. It helps more than 2,000 companies around global mitigate related risk through background checks and diligent solutions. Okay, can we make it into bullet points, right? What does Avance
Okay.
do, right?
Mm.
So, what do you do, right? Who do you do it for, right? So,
Mm.
do you do it for MNCs, SMEs, specific industries? And why are you the best? You are award winning? Do you have other kinds of things? So, it could be logos of clients that you work with that you can share, right? Or it could be featured in media platforms that you could share, right?
Mm.
You can, and then showcasing any other uniqueness that you have. Maybe you are supported, you've worked with public service before, right? You work with MNCs before, you worked regionally or globally. You have offices around different places. So all of these are credibility factors that you can add
Mm.
in through images, right? Just by adding their logo, by saying as featured in, right? Past clients or top clients, you can share some of their logos as well. You can share testimonials, maybe a phrase of a very prestigious client that you have. If you've done something really special for a very specific type of client, sharing, and they've given you a testimonial, you can share that. If you've done a really interesting thing where you help them to make money, save time, save effort, you can also showcase those things as well. So you will probably see this on LinkedIn. I help X do Y in Z amount of time, right? So what have you been able to do as a company for the organization, right? Or for your clients? Yeah. So that's
Mm.
something that you can put into the banner because that is your real estate. You want to
Okay.
maximize it as much as possible. If you click the pencil on the right hand side, public profile and URL, can you see the, no, not that one. On the
Another
right
one.
hand side. Go to your right. Yeah. Public profile and URL. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Click the
This one.
pencil. Yeah. Okay. You click the pencil on the right hand side again. Edit your custom URL. Okay. You can remove the numbers.
Remove the numbers.
Yeah. The
Okay.
704, all of that. Okay. See whether you are able to save this. Oh, okay. Then maybe you want to remove the dash. Try
Try
again.
again.
Nope. Okay. You want to put your full Chinese name? Yep. There you go. So now that's
Ah, nice.
personalized. Yeah, link. Okay, if you can go back. Oh yeah, the next tab. Yeah. Okay, you can scroll down. So you already optimized for
Sorry,
your.
Vic, before you carry on, I'm just curious about personalizing your own link over there.
Hmm.
I realized that a lot of individuals don't do that, and probably they didn't know. Like, I only get to know it today.
Yeah, we learned
Yeah.
something today.
Yeah.
But why is it important?
I mean, when you are sharing your links, let's say for example, you met someone at a networking event,
Mm.
and then you want to follow up with them, you want to connect with them. And then it says, hey, let's connect. Here's my LinkedIn link, right? So if the link has a lot of numbers, it just looks like you haven't even touched a profile. But if it's like now what Joe has, it is very concise and it is very specific to his name. It just looks better, lah. It is just the aesthetic. It just looks better.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
let's
Yeah.
carry on.
Okay. We can scroll down some more. Right. Okay. Some more. Scroll down. Do you? Oh, you don't have an about section. Scroll down. Do you?
No. Okay. I don't think so.
Yeah, you don't. Okay, go up.
Mm-hmm.
This is something you can probably do later.
Mm.
Go add profile section. Click on
Add.
next to open to.
Oh,
Yeah,
this one.
yeah. Add about. Okay, then you can probably get AI suggestions later. You can look into this, but here, right, don't put your overview. Share what you have achieved. What outcomes have you accomplished for the company? Right.
Okay.
Achievements. People want to know, don't want to know your job scope. They want to know what you have been able to achieve in your job scope. Right. The results. So I have been able to run X number of training programs. I've closed X number of sales. That kind of thing. If you have been able to create a certain result that the company is happy with, then you want to share those, right? You can share in more or less percentages so that you don't need to share actual numbers, right? Yeah. So share outcomes, not just the overview of who you are and what you do. Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll take a look at this later.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Um,
Pete, I got this question here is that for any company that looking into the LinkedIn profile, what will be the first that they'll be look
the
or yeah,
banner.
the
Just
First
banner?
thing
maybe
is
this one, yeah, the banner,
yeah,
right?
banner. Banner is always the first. It's your signboard.
Mm.
It's the one that you can leverage to immediately let people know what you do. So that's why I say, like, make it simple keywords, and make sure you always follow what you do, who you do it for, and why you are the best person to do it. Right? If you can showcase those credibility factors, it is very easy for people to understand what you do. Yeah.
First impression.
Yeah, first impression in a way. So the image does a lot of the heavy lifting for us. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah, you've got posts. I realize you don't have any featured section as well, right? So
Featured
if you
section.
go, yeah, so if you go up, click add profile section, um, go under recommended, add featured. Okay. So in the featured section is where you want to bring them to a call to action. So if Joe, if someone were to, if your ideal client, right, were to visit you, let's say someone from Google is like, hey, we need to do some kind of assessment of the different kinds of profiles. Where would you want them to go after they visited your profile? What would you want them to do?
Call to action. That means
Yes,
to
what is the call
contact
to?
me. Yeah.
Okay, so is there a booking link where they can book a call with you? Is there a downloadable resource that they can get from you? What can they do to go to the next step?
Mm.
Right, that is very important. So, um, for me, it is like book a call with me or book me as your speaker, right? And then they will be uh, pushed to my website, right? And to the specific contact us page, right? So that they don't need to navigate. It just goes direct to the contact us page, and then they fill in the form, and then they'll be able to get in touch with me, or they can just send me a DM as well. Which if they already know what to do, then pretty much they can do it. But if they don't know what to do, it's good to just show them some signs to say that, hey, go over here, and then we can get in touch and we can have a conversation.
Also, it's like a hyperlink that you're going to put in that people can click the link and go to whatever page they want to engage you.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay, I'll look at this also. A lot of homework for me to do.
I can go on. This can go on for a long time. Yeah. So
Okay.
all of these things that you haven't added yet, there are potential for you to add because it also helps you to add keywords about who you are, what you do, and what are those keywords that you would want to put in for your clients to find you and for recruiters to find you, right? So
Mm.
if you want recruiters to find you and you are in sales, then you want to have sales related keywords. So you can go to ChatGPT and say, I am your title. I'm looking to, get into this kind of a role. What are some of the keywords I should add on my LinkedIn profile? Right. And it will tell you. And then you have those words, and then you say, okay, based on these keywords, help me write my experience section. So you should scroll down. Your experience section has no description, right? But if you click the
Mm.
plus, if you click the pencil, right, it actually allows you to write, click the pencil again. Okay, scroll down. So you see the description, you have
Hmm.
2000 words that you can add. So you tell the AI, give me a 2000 up to 2000 words characters of words to describe exactly what I've done and the outcomes that I've achieved. So you give it a list of your outcomes that you've achieved in.
Very interesting. Wait, but then I tell you what, I have to stop you for sharing further. The best thing is that probably we can organize a seminar and invite you over to explain in detail. I think that
Yeah,
will be even much more interesting.
yeah, why not? Yeah,
All
there's
right.
a lot of things they can do to optimize. Yeah, we're always optimizing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I think the
Thanks,
audience
thanks for all the
gonna
tips.
no, I think the
Yeah.
audience gonna hate me for this for stopping you from sharing further. Never mind, let me be the that guy. But anyway, there's actually a lot of questions that we actually want to ask you.
Mm.
And the key thing is the key question that I actually always have in mind is that what is the percentage, all right, of different era that using LinkedIn?
I think the more important question is out of those percentages, who is active?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. I think we have in every I guess generation, right? We will have a percentage of people who are active based on the industry. So if you're in IT, if you're in finance, and you are someone who needs to make a lot of relationships with people who are in the high net worth space, if you are looking to build connections with a network beyond your existing network, if that is something that is important for you, then you would naturally gravitate towards LinkedIn, regardless of your generation, right? If you are, let's say, for example, into baking, right, and your job is pretty much like a baker, right? You're the one in the kitchen. LinkedIn is not relevant for you unless you are looking to jump to another kind of maybe a bakery, right? So it really depends on the relevance of the platform. So a lot of people go on LinkedIn, they set up their profile, they do the bare minimum so that at least they have a profile and they can be found, right? But they don't become active on it, and that's why I say if you're not active on LinkedIn, then you're leaving money out there. Because if you're not active, it's basically like there's no attention being created there, which means you're not able to attract any kind of opportunities because you don't know who's looking at your profile. So what we want to do is across all generations, if you have a LinkedIn profile, is if it makes sense for you to be active on LinkedIn, then be more active on LinkedIn because it will attract all the decision makers, the people who are the ones who are holding on to the budgets, the ones who are making decisions around recruitment, sales, collaborations, partnerships, all of these things. These people are actually there looking, right? They're looking on LinkedIn. Even if they look on Google, because your LinkedIn profile is optimized, right? Your LinkedIn profile link will show up in the top 10 searches on Google, right? So now AI as well, right, will start recommending people who have an optimized LinkedIn profile over those who don't. So what we want to see is if it makes sense for you to be on LinkedIn and you have a B2B market or even a B2C market, you feel that is very relevant for the PMETs who are there, then it's about being more active on the platform that matters. As opposed to the number, right? A lot of people have created a profile. We have, I think, over a billion profiles, but how many are actually active? Only 1 point something percent, right? So it's a huge opportunity because a lot of people don't really post. So but a lot of people are watching and there's not a lot of competition. So that's the uniqueness of being in a less crowded space.
Wow, okay. Now, do you think that the new generation, or we call it the Gen Alpha, will be maximizing the usage of LinkedIn because nowadays there are so many other social media that pop up. Do you think that they will be actively using LinkedIn for I don't know. It seems quite different kind of generation. So compared to Gen X, Y, and Millennial.
Well, in my experience, I have seen them already start their profiles, which is interesting, right? I've been to a few talks where I'm talking to A-level students, I'm talking to students who are in their poly, right? They are already curious about LinkedIn and starting a profile there, but they're also clueless about how do I actually use LinkedIn to get a job, or how do I leverage LinkedIn to get an opportunity or connect with people. How should I connect with people without feeling like, I am intruding on their space or making them uncomfortable? So they're very conscious about how to behave on LinkedIn. And I don't blame them, because LinkedIn is not as intuitive, and we always have this fear, right? Like, oh, LinkedIn phobia. Oh my goodness, what if someone sees me and then it creates a black mark or something like that? So that fear is there, but I think it's not. It is about embracing the fear and then doing it anyway, right? And so that you can uh get to the opportunities over there. So in my limited experience, yes, they are a little bit more proactive in terms of getting on the platform. They are a lot more proactive in terms of checking out different profiles and seeing how they can make it better and stuff. But they're also equally clueless about how to fully leverage the platform, because they don't have a company, they're not hired employees. They also feel like, how am I able to position myself here when I'm not even an employee? Because I have no experience to share, I have no about section of stuff to share, I have nothing, I'm starting from zero. So how should I even be here if I'm starting from zero? So that's all of these questions that are going through their minds.
Very interesting. Since we are talking about generation, we are also knowing that we are at a generation crossroad situation worldwide is facing right now. So do you foresee any prominent leadership style that will surface to manage the different generation workforce?
Definitely, I think what we are noticing is there needs to be a kind of skill set required by leaders to do context switching. So I can switch from English to Singlish very easily, because I have grown up with both, right? I've learned English in schools, and I've spoken Singlish to everyone around me. So I can context switch. I can switch to English, and I can switch back to English if I want. And that is a skill I have. There are some people who can only speak Singlish, they cannot speak English. And there are people who can speak English, but they cannot speak Singlish. So, similarly, in a generation wise, there are context switching. So, some examples to give you is in terms of motivations of communication styles, right? The baby boomers have different motivation and communication styles. They prefer things to be formalized, right? Work is always from the office. They would prefer any kind of formal communication to be done via email, whereas the Gen Zs, their preference is to work from home, have the flexibility. Their preference is to be able to WhatsApp you, or just send you a DM, and to be able to get update from you. For them, their motivations are a little bit different compared to the older generation. So there are differences in terms of what we like, our work ethics, and we need to be able to context switch. So when I'm talking to a Gen Z, I have to remember that these are some of their preferences when I am talking to them. And when I'm talking to a baby boomer, I have to remember these are some of their preferences. And I have to make sure that when I have all of these people in my team, I should be able to cater to all of them, not just one group or the other. Right? So it has to be a mix and match, and it has to be a win-win situation. I don't think leaders today have learned how to cater to all, right? So they just say, just do this way. So there'll always be one person that's unhappy about it, right? Because they feel like, hey, what about me? Right? So that is the issue that leads to people leaving the organizations, people feeling disengaged in the organizations, and team members feeling lost, and like, how do I manage all of them when I have to like say one thing to this group and then say it in another way to this group. So that context switching skill is very important for them to manage a group that's very diverse. And we have up to 5 generations now in the workforce. So to be able to manage all of them properly, you need to pick up the skill.
So
Yeah.
what are the 5 generations now?
So we have silent generation, that is before 1946, right? Before that, we didn't really document generations, right? So silent
Mm.
generation. We have the
Okay.
baby boomers, 1946 to 1964. We have the Gen X, 1965 to 1979. We have the millennials, 1980 to about 1995. We have the Gen Z, which is 1996 to about 2012. Right? And
Okay.
then the Gen
So,
Alpha haven't really
mm,
entered the workforce yet.
so millennials are also Gen Y. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, Gen Y has
Okay.
been renamed as millennial. Yeah.
Going
Right.
back to the different kind of management style, we're talking to different workforce. With a company, a mix of different generation, the manager, whoever are going to manage it, it sounds like he actually require a split personality in order to do the job.
I like the way you put it. Yeah, in a way, yeah. You need to know how to manage, right? So it's very similar, right? Like imagine you're talking to someone who's you're working in a company that's multicultural, right? And you have people from France, you have people from India. They have a different style of working. Here, the Germans maybe or the French have a different style of working, but you need to learn how to integrate them together, right? Germans are a little bit more direct and to the point, right? Indians, when it comes to timing, it is expendable a little bit, right? So there is a different culture altogether, right? And we are noticing this in terms of generations as well because during, I think, the tech boom, right? We had a huge technological advancements. Social media came into play, digital devices came into play, internet came into play. All of this kind of changed the way we have started to communicate with one another. Millennials grew up with MSN, right? They grew up with this instant messaging, and then Gen Zs have pretty much been born and brought up with phones and smartphones in their hands, right? Whereas the other older generations, these are new developments that happen at later stages of their lives. So the tech boom has influenced the way we communicate, parenting styles. So baby boomers were brought up by the silent generation, which was very strict, and they wanted to do better for their own children, so they actually were a little bit more softer. So that's where the helicopter parenting came about. They really take care of their children so that they get all the kind of opportunities that they deserve, right? So that style of parenting has also influenced the way millennials have kind of grown up, the kind of motivations that they have. So you notice that the younger generation today, their parents are actually still providing for them in many ways. They are very comfortable financially, so they can afford to move from company to company because financially it's not really a huge risk for them, right? So I'm talking about first world countries, right? We don't talk about third world countries. Even the Gen Zs are behaving like baby boomers, right? Because for them, the Maslow's hierarchy is I still need to put food on the table, I still need shelter, I still need, so their motivations are very different. So if you're only comparing first world countries, the Gen Zs have had a different kind of upbringing, and hence their lifestyle is a little bit different. Their motivations are a little different. Their way they communicate is very different. Yeah. So we need
I've
to
heard of
recognize it.
I've heard of this word called strawberry generation. So
Mm.
this strawberry is like falls into which category?
Well, yeah, it's been very loosely used. Millennials had it, and now Gen Zs have it. I'm sure the alphas and the betas will also have it. In Asia, we call it strawberry. In the West, they call it snowflakes. Right? You touch, it will melt. Strawberry. Why do we say strawberry? Because strawberry seeds, when you just touch it, it will come off on your hand. So very easily bruised, very easily hurt. Cannot handle tough feedback or cannot handle harsh feedback. So there is this concept that the younger generation can't handle it. I think it is true to a certain extent, but we also have to realize that the older generation also suffered a lot in silence, right? If you want to ask for your annual leave, must see whether boss is happy or not. Then go in when the weather is good, right? As they say, don't go in when he's already upset about something else, right? Whereas Gen Z will be like, hey, this is my right. I'm entitled to this number of days of leave, right? So different approaches to the same thing, right? So the Gen
Right.
X would hesitate, but the Gen Z won't. When it
They're
comes
probably a miss in action if you don't approve.
MC. Yeah. So
So,
yeah,
so very quickly, so you've written 4 books, coming 5 books, okay? And the topic is all on millennials. So what got you interested to write books on millennials?
I always felt that there was this growing gap. So a few things that made me realize. Number one is when I was in the army, right? I noticed my inchicks, who are a little bit older, working with the officers, and they will never get along, even though they're same rank, right? They always have difference in opinion, the difference in communicating. And me as a sergeant, waiting for instructions between both of them, I noticed the gap. Second is when I was doing the school business, I know I would talk a lot to the teachers, and teachers would say, "Oh, now the parents are a lot more involved. All right, we cannot just anyhow punish. Like last time, you can send for caning, but now anything you do, you need to kind of inform the parent first and stuff. So it is a little bit more. We see that helicopter parenting style coming in, a lot more from the baby boomers. It started from the baby boomers, right? So I've noticed certain trends where I see like, oh, okay, there are a lot of differences and conflicts happening in these places that showcase it could be because of a difference in values, right? So the baby boomer generation have different values, the Gen X or the Gen Y have different values, the Gen Zs have different values. So there's a clash. And I also noticed my friends, I think back then, job hopping, if you do job hop, you get a black mark on your CV, right? And it's considered a bad thing. But I started noticing my employee friends like just resign without a job. They just chill for 2 weeks.
Chill.
And they say, yeah, I'll just apply later, lah, right? So there is that behavior. They call it fun employment, right? I'm having fun while I'm being unemployed. So that mindset shift, all of these things made me realize there's something bigger going on, right? And I wanted to investigate. And when I investigated, I found a lot of the books are based on the Western demographic. Nothing that talks about Asia. Like they all complaining that millennials are coming back to live with their parents. I'm like, why is that a complaint? In Asia, you stay with your parents
Normal,
after you're
right?
married. Sometimes even after you're married, you stay with your parents. So I realized that there's not a lot of information on this topic, and that's when I started interviewing bosses. I started interviewing HR leaders, understanding what is the key difference you're noticing between managers who can manage millennials and managers who hate to work with millennials or Gen Zs. What do you see is the difference? And that's when I realized it's the context, right? And also the mindset, right? Am I willing to also learn from you, or am I the one who knows all the answers, right? So there are certain mindset traps that they are stuck in, the old school way of thinking, and certain skills that are missing that they need to build in order for them to kind of build a stronger relationship with their younger colleagues. If they can do that, then they will be able to make their team a lot more resourceful and productive. Otherwise, their ranking goes down as a manager. Yeah.
I
Then
think I got
for
these
for
questions. This is very interesting. Now, do you think that the character of the millennial is molded by their parent generation or they are being molded by social media?
It's molded by your privilege. So if you come from a family of privilege, if you come from a country of privilege, if you're in a first world country, it molds your behaviors. If you come from a third world country, your privileges are lesser. It also molds your behavior, which is why we notice a lot of foreigners are willing to work harder than our own local Singaporeans. It's a common complaint we hear, right? One, of course, is to for them to retain their passes, but also because they want to be able to give back and establish their family back in their home country. So you could be a Gen Z who's working in Singapore, who's a foreigner, who has zero traits or very different from the Gen Z who's a local here, right? So Gen Z foreigner versus Gen Z local, Gen Z foreigner tends to work harder because they are molded by their privilege that they had. And it's the privilege that makes them, it drives their values, it drives their motivations, their ethics, all of those things. Yeah.
But the reason I was asking the questions mainly because I realized that in terms of communication wise, Gen X baby boomer probably have the advantages because they are able to communicate much more effectively. Whereas for okay, Gen Y not so bad, but then after Gen Y, we realized that verbal communication can be quite a challenge to them. And
Mm.
we suspect that probably because of the social media, where they are so used to laptop, mobile phone.
Texting.
Yeah, correct. So this is something that probably hinder their ability to communicate and present verbally in an effective way.
Yeah, I mean, we call Gen Zs the anxious generation, right? Because even if, let's say, I send a text to my boss, right, and he read it, he blue tick me, and he didn't reply in the next few seconds, which is what I'm used to. I feel like I maybe didn't write the message right, or maybe my boss is overthinking and thinking of saying something more serious to me and giving me feedback. Um, so there is the what we call the blue tick anxiety that they face when they don't get a response back at the time that they expected, right? And sometimes they just delete the message that they send, thinking that they said something wrong. So they tend to go into this overthinking because they are not aware of the manager's way of working with one another, right? So that is there. The younger generation definitely, when it comes to in-person communication, not as skilled in reading facial expressions, not as skilled in uh, understanding tonalities, right? The small soft skills, right, that we need. They are not able to pick it up as well, but they are very good at tech-based communication. So they know how to navigate all the tech-based stuff and communicate through different platforms. Let's say someone loses your phone, right? They lose their phone, so no access to WhatsApp. The baby boomer will not know how to contact this person because if you don't have phone, you don't have email. How am I supposed to contact you? All this kind of stuff. But they will, the Gen Zs will be the ones who will say, "Hey, maybe I can WhatsApp them. I can message them on Instagram, on TikTok." Right? Let me see if I can get a hold of them through all these different kinds of ways. And people who are losing their phone, the first thing they'll do is they'll probably go to like a computer lab kind of place, then announce that I've lost my phone, and say that if you want to contact me, just message me here, right? So that is the Gen Z, right? They know how to reach each other in the most creative of ways, whereas the older generations may not even think of, oh, that I didn't even think of that, right? Yeah.
I actually did a research in asking on mobile phone, and let's say for example you talk about baby boomer time. Okay, so they are actually quite aged today already. So I was asking like, what if we do without any mobile phone, computer kind of things, and to stay for a week kind of thing. Are you okay? No problem. This is quite an easy walk over, activities for them. But we ask Gen X, probably 7 days, not so bad. As long as I don't have any urgence on work that is, anything that come to me, I think I'm fine with that too.
Mhm.
But Gen Y is like, okay, within 1 to 3 days, if they are not able to access to their mobile phone, oh, they got a little bit of anxiety that you can actually sense from them.
Yeah.
However, anything that's after Gen Y, I realized that any hour or an hour later, they're unable to access to their phone. They told me that they'll get into depression.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's quite serious.
So this
Ben
thing,
just asked me this question 2 days ago. So I told him I'm in the Generation X, so I can do 1 month without phone also no problem.
Yeah, yeah.
so I've been thinking, all right, the new policy of restricting student to use their mobile phone in school or even during class, I agree, like you shouldn't be using your phone. Yeah.
Mm,
But within the school period times or maybe perhaps like 5, 6 hours. I'm not so sure whether is a good thing or bad thing because they are depending on it so much.
mm,
And not so sure also if student this day will hate going to school if they're unable to use their mobile phone.
yeah, yeah. In China, there are boot camps for students who are addicted to gaming and
Mm.
smartphones. Right, literally boot camps for them to pull them away from the addiction that they have, to get them more out in nature and exercise. It's almost like a commando kind of boot camp. I saw this interesting documentary where yeah, they don't respect their parents. They get very frustrated if they don't get access to their phones and their gaming devices. So literal boot camps are being set up right now to help them tear away from that tech addiction, yeah, that they have.
Do you think
So
that
right
will work in
now,
Singapore?
I don't know, but somehow, this is something very funny. I was, I'm been thinking about, which is that these days human are controlled by AI and machine. I'll say that, instead of we consciously able to figure things out on our own.
Yeah, yeah. Joe, you asked the question about Singapore.
Yeah, do you think that bootcamp will work in Singapore?
Uh, Interestingly, I haven't found found anything here. But I think we are also part of the problem. The parents are also part of the problem. We are the ones who buy the phones. We are the ones who don't put boundaries around phone usage, and we are the ones who also kind of rely on the phones to communicate with the person. Yeah. So we haven't seen it so far, but it'll be interesting to know how many people sign up if there's something like that, because that
Well,
kind of
let's do a survey and find
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Maybe
Would
there's
you
a
send your
demand.
child for a boot camp, and how long would you send it for to help them overcome? The boot camp is long, it's like about a month, the one that they did in China.
Wow.
So I don't know whether yeah, here can we afford to do that, right? Would you send your kid for a 1 month in June holidays or December holidays? Yeah, so a lot of different factors come into play. Yeah.
Yeah, looking into the activities that school are having for them these days, it can be quite a challenge for a month, probably a week, still reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, phone has become part of our day to day. I can leave my home without my wallet, but cannot leave home without my phone. Yeah.
Okay, I think today we really learned a lot from Vivek that how millennial minds really think and how LinkedIn really can help and you as a reference to create your own opportunities. So with that, I don't have much question here over my
I,
side,
I
but
actually
then
have one I actually have one final question for Vivek. Yeah.
Mm.
So for all the business owners out there that's listening to this podcast, what is the biggest misconception they have about the millennials?
Biggest misconception.
Hmm.
The biggest misconception is that assuming that all millennials are entitled, all Gen Zs are strawberries, all millennials or Gen Zs are vocal. Um, it is not all, right? It is maybe a majority, all right? But because the stereotype kind of stuck on, we assume that everyone is like that. So what that happens is you stop giving people chances to prove themselves, right? And we give them a chance, but we look at it from a colored lens that, oh, I know you're going to ask me for help, or I know you're going to screw this up, right? So we are kind of like expecting them to fail, and I think that comes from the stereotype that has been pushed out, right? We see it in Reddit forums, social media, and stuff like that. But a thinking leader, the one who knows how to critically think, will know better than to just follow blindly, right? So as a thinking leader, you should be aware of the stereotypes, but see how can I leverage those things to be a better leader for them, to better leverage their strengths instead of highlighting their weaknesses, right? So, yes, they may be a little bit vocal. Yes, they may be a little bit easily bruised when it comes to feedback. But then, how can you, as a leader, build them up? What is your value to this generation as a leader? That is the more important question that I think leaders should be asking, as opposed to, I've been here for so long, you should listen to me. I have this rank, I have this position. It's not gonna go very well with the young generation. They'll just cancel you. Yeah.
true, true. I think leadership is a very big topic, and probably we should arrange another discussion panel or podcast to discuss on leadership. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Okay.
So, Vivek, thanks a lot for your time today. I really learned a lot, and I really appreciate your time. So, for the listeners out there, is how can I reach out to you?
I think the best way is to find me on LinkedIn. My name is Vivek Yani, Vivek space IYYANI. You search my full name, you should be able to find me, and we can connect from there. Send me a message because I don't accept random invites to connect anymore. So let me know if you heard from this podcast, and then yeah, happy to connect.
Nice. We will put it inside the show notes as well. All right, great. Thanks a lot, Vivek.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you. But before
All right.
that, all right, we still hope that to encourage people to stay connect lah, and to subscribe to our podcast so that we can actually invite more guests and business owner to share their knowledge and experience. Yeah. So
Lovely.
with that, thank you very much once again, Vivek, for being our interesting guest. I would say today we learned really a lot from you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes,
Happy to
yes,
share.
yes.
Happy to share. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.